Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show, How We Grow. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business. With advice and insights from the best in the biz, I'm your host, Lynell Gordon. Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. I'm really excited today, guys, to have a really smart guy and a friend. Eric Goldreyer is here with us today. He's been in vacation rentals, guys, for 30 years. He owns vacation rentals. He was the co-founder of TurnKey Vacation Rentals. He was a founder of Bed and Breakfast. He knows so much about vacation rentals. This is going to be such an exciting episode. And he has now founded a new company called Savvy. I'm excited. Tell me about it.
Well, it's been a long journey, but it's been a lot of fun. I think, over the years, it's funny to sort of step outside and it's like, okay, I'm the old guy in the industry now. I remember when I used to go to conferences, Philip Wolf at Focusrite, and I'm like, wow, these guys, they're some old guys. Now that's me. Anyway, so, my wife and I loved to go to bed and breakfasts when we were younger. We still do, but I mean, when we were younger, pre-internet, right? You were using guidebooks and it was painful. So launched a company called bedandbreakfast.com. We built the largest website for true bed and breakfasts, right? Not Airbnbs or vacation rentals, if you will. And with that, we had the leading property management software system in the industry. It was called Reservation. We built the first CRS, central reservation system, that took real-time rates and inventory from innkeepers, bed and breakfast, and we distributed it out to the big OTAs that were starting at the time. Expedia, Rich Barton, Terry Jones, Travelocity, all those guys. Had a lot of fun doing it, and then sold it to Brian Sharples and Carl Shepard at HomeAway in 2010. And my business partner and I, he went on to work with HomeAway for a couple of years. And I took some time off just to be with family and my wife and my kids, and the kids were young at the time. And then, you just can't sit on the side. It's like, okay, you have ideas and you're like, there's other opportunity and we could do this and that. So we bought an inn. We still own it, Sage Hill Inn and Spa. It's 5-star TripAdvisor, 20 key. When we bought it, it was 12 keys. It's 20 now. It's on 88 acres.
Wow.
And we still own that. It's a great spot.
Where's it located?
It's just outside of Austin, between Driftwood and Wimberley and Kyle, Texas. Sort of we sit sort of on the doorsteps of the Hill Country. Amazing views from the back porch, and just sort of a all-included place. You go down there, and we just want people to experience hospitality and relax and recharge and rejuvenate. And it's been very rewarding. But you see things, right? You see what's wrong with the industry. And then we co-founded TurnKey Vacation Rentals in 2013, was it? And I wasn't active in the business. I was, first money in we brought TJ Clark from limos.com to come down and run it. And that was fun. I was on the board. So I sort of got to see quarterly what was going on in the space and where things were heading. And it just gave us sort of a front row view to how costs were increasing for suppliers and travelers in the space. Because what started as a less expensive way to travel in Airbnb, and I mean Vrbo, actually, David Klaus in '95 launched VRBO, Vacation Rentals by Owner. And when Expedia bought HomeAway in 2016, they picked up HomeAway, bedandbreakfast.com, Vrbo, and shut down HomeAway and shut down bedandbreakfast.com, and now everything they throw behind Vrbo. But getting to be in those quarterly meetings, we got to see how the costs were just increasing, and what started as a less expensive way to travel was just sort of getting out of hand. And we knew that savvy travelers weren't really booking on those platforms anymore. Like today, they'll sort of showroom or use them as a search engine and go find listings, properties that they like, and then they spend an hour or two trying to find the property so they can book it direct and avoid the 15, 20+% service fees. And we just thought, that's just crazy. And I mean, I think we're, as the consumer, as a traveler, I'm as tired of the fees as anybody, whether it's Ticketmaster, StubHub, hotel, resort fees. So I could get my USA Today, which is, I think now 2 pages, and free Wi-Fi, which everybody should have, and Vrbo fees and Airbnb fees and stuff. And we just thought, we've done this before. We can bring a better solution to the industry. So in 2019, bought a company called B&B Finder from a lady, Mary White, who had been in the space almost as long as I had. I think she started in 98. And we spent the next few years sort of replacing her WordPress site with a real tech stack. And then about a year and a half ago, we were sort of ready to move into the vacation rental space officially, and started writing APIs to PMSs. And we've got, I think, the top 15 PMSs we've got full 2A APIs with now. And we've got 5 more, I think, that launch this quarter. So we'll have 20 APIs to PMSs in the space. And that's allowed us over the last 18 months to add almost 2,500 property management companies to Savvy, was B&B Finder at the time, but to the site, representing about 150,000 listings. So
I
it's
was
like,
going to
when you're
guess
going
125 listings. In my head, I was like, he's got
plus,
125,000 listings there. Plus, okay, there you go.
well, when you're building a marketplace, right, you have that chicken and egg problem. And it's like, you can't go out to travelers before you have either supply or a product, a website or an app. So we've spent the last year and a half solely focused on building a first-class OTA and
Yeah.
building out supply, so that when we pivoted and said, okay, it's time to go after travelers and let them know we exist, we'd have something that they liked. And so that was, very intentional. I'll be the first to say we've not been a driver of a material amount of reservations over the last year and a half, because we didn't have the product where it needed to be, and we didn't have enough, inventory. Someone's not going to come to our site and look for vacation rentals in Breckenridge. And if we've got 25 vacation rentals, they're going to bounce. So
Right.
you're not going to
Of
get
course.
the conversion that you need to
That's
spend
right.
money on marketing until you have the product and the supply. And so we sort of tied all that together with the rebrand to Savvy. And it was really just, we feel that's who our market is. Our market is savvy travelers and savvy property managers. Savvy property managers know that they need to build their book direct business, but it's expensive.
It is.
I mean, property managers don't have the budgets that a Hyatt and a Hilton and, the big flags and the big chains have. And to compete in that space is tough. And so we thought, you know what? We could be that company to build the first really book direct OTA, if you will, where we give travelers a place to go to see all the inventory from all the property managers in a destination. And then when they book with us, they're booking direct with the property manager. So we can save the travelers fees and the property managers fees. And, that allows the traveler, if they're saving 15, 20%, that's more money they can spend with the property manager. They can get a nicer place. Instead of being Breck, they could be skiing and ski out in Breck. Instead of being in Seaside, back off the beach, they may be on the beach in Seaside, or maybe they're staying an extra night, or they're bringing in a chef or doing a spa day or treating the gang to something. And so we just thought it would allow travelers to build better memories. And so savvy travelers were going to be interested. And, we know savvy property managers want to build their book direct business. So we're like, let's go, let's do this.
So tell me this. So if they're booking direct on the website, that means that the merchant of record is the property manager, number one, which that gets through a lot of hoops that Airbnb is still trying to work through, quite frankly.
It's their terms and conditions. It's their payment policy. They get the money. The property manager gets the money just like they would if it was done on their website. So they're not waiting for some third-party intermediary OTA to pay them at check-in or, the 10th of the month following checkout. I mean, yeah, it's their customer, not ours.
Where's the ROI on you? Where do you make your money?
Our model is the old tried and true bedandbreakfast.com home away verbal model. It's we allow property managers to put all their listings on Savvy completely free, no obligation. And at any time, if they want to get more exposure, they can pay a flat monthly cost and bump any of their listings up from our standard free listing to a paid premium listing.
Mm-hmm.
And they just get more exposure and they control it. It's not some black box. If they need more exposure for a new property, they can bump them up a little bit for a month or two. And we are confident from our time in the industry that we'll get 1 in 10 listings will upgrade to get more exposure. That's plenty. We're not trying to create a
So
$100
you're not
billion
charging
company.
are you charging a per property to put it up there as well?
Nope.
Not today. Well, whatever. Yeah.
Onboarding is completely free. We may eventually charge a small onboarding fee just to cover the full deep dive background check, identity verification, and all that stuff to help
Yeah.
us cover that cost. Yeah, I mean, like what, $19.95? I mean, something ridiculously
I
low.
love
But
that business model. I just have to tell you, I wouldn't expect anything else different coming from you or your team. That's pretty brilliant. And that's
yeah,
very
thanks. I mean, and
exciting.
the team's awesome. I mean, this isn't our first rodeo. We've got people from Verbo, we've got people from Expedia, we've got people from HomeAway, we've got people from bedandbreakfast.com, from TurnKey, we've got people that worked at property management companies. So it's, there's approximately 100 years of experience in this space on our team.
Well, I'm really
And
excited
that's
about
that's
that.
fun. It's fun to have such a team that can just really move things forward.
Well, not only that, but it changes the competitive space. Let's just be real honest. It's a disruptor, in my opinion. Now, you're the second person that I've talked to in 1 week. Everybody's looking at this model.
You told me I was the only person. Just teasing.
You're the only one that's launched for sure. And you're the only one that probably has the technology in place to do this. Let's just be real honest. Because you have a lot of cost to this. I know those APIs are not free. I mean,
Yep.
you guys have put a whole bunch of money in this on the back end, looking for this to work. And I was just thinking to but the funny thing
Time and
is,
money.
I'm thinking to
We're
myself,
5 years in right now.
this is going to work. I'm thinking this is definitely going to work. And I'm thinking, how can I get an ad for my personal home for off season?
That you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because our other value prop to travelers is we don't work with for rent by owners. When you book on Savvy, you're staying at a property that's hosted by a professional. So we only work with property management companies and professional property managers. It's funny. I thought that saving 15-20% would have been the hook for most people. There's as many folks that are interested in just like, they want to know that that the listing is represented correctly and they're not getting bait and switched. They want to know if they show up at 11 o'clock at night with their kids in tow and the Bluetooth lock doesn't work.
100%.
The homeowner's not in Costa Rica surfing, but there's a professional in town.
Or outside looking at you with a camera. Let's just be real honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to do worst case scenario as a woman traveler on her own many times before I was married.
And I'll be the first to say, just because they're a professional property manager doesn't mean that they're the best. So we'll still have, ratings and reviews for them. And it's not everybody that does anything doesn't mean if they're a professional plumber, they're not all good, So we want to help property managers be better. We want to help them grow. We want to help them build their direct business. We ultimately want to help them provide higher level of hospitality that they can provide with an intermediary between them and the guest.
That's what it sounds like. It's so exciting. I was talking with someone last night and your name came up and I was like, oh my gosh,
Were they associated with law enforcement in any way? No? Okay, good.
No, they're some of the best and brightest in the industry. And I don't remember how your name came up. I honestly don't. I'm sure that I was talking about JB and you came up because we were talking about JB.
Yeah.
And you guys are often like Bonnie and Clyde there. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, so we met back in the WorldRes days. So I don't, quick sidebar, but I had sold bedandbreakfast.com to WorldRes. WorldRes was a company trying to do the hotel reservation network, HRN, which became hotels.com. WorldRes was trying to do the HRN model. And HRN, if you recall, was a call center. And they did net rates with hotels. And they would get a 30%, net rate, and then they would just mark it up or distribute it at whatever they could yield it to. And so I had sold to WorldRes in 99 and continued to run bedandbreakfast.com for WorldRes in Denver. And once a month, I'd go out to San Mateo, California, and we'd have our exec offsites. And I got to meet John, and we became good buddies. And he went on to Hotwire when WorldRes sort of didn't make it. I had bought bedandbreakfast.com back and took it forward. He went on to Hotwire for a couple of years, and then we're like, all right, let's do this. And he came on, joined me, and we just kept leaning in and kept providing
Yeah.
what people wanted.
Built by property managers for property managers. Streamline is a powerful software that gives managers enterprise-level capabilities to drive more revenue and improve operational efficiency. Migrating to Streamline allows property managers to gain functionality while reducing the need for multiple vendors, improving flow by logging into a single system and reducing redundant technology costs. With Streamline, property managers achieve revenue lifts by leveraging our fully fledged communication center, reservations quoting system, revenue management tools, homeowner acquisition CRM, and powerful direct OTA connections. Streamline also has industry-leading trust accounting and report capabilities to give you clarity in an overall company performance. Learn more about Streamline Vacation Rental software at streamlinevrs.com.
There's so many times I had thought, well, I just have to say, we'll shout out to John Banzek. Just want to say he's been in the industry a long time. He's one of the smartest men I've met, and that he's incredibly savvy. I mean,
Oh, I
like
see what you did. That's
he's
good.
such a business person.
Yeah, nice.
Unintentional, but true.
Yeah.
One of the last times I talked to John, he came up to me and, hey, how are you? He's just such a great business person. And he asked me a question, and it was incredibly technically detailed. And I knew the answer, but still, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he knew the right answer
Smart
to
guy.
ask me.
Yeah.
And I was like, dag, he is just a sharp cookie.
He's not only a sharp cookie, he's a great operator.
He's a great person too. He's
Yeah.
just a good
Well, yeah,
person.
I guess
all
without
along.
saying.
Well, no, a lot of people in the industry, that's not true. Most of the people in our
we're
industry
not
are
going
nice.
to talk about those people.
There's a few. We all know who
They
they
know
are.
who they are.
He's not one of those. But
No.
yeah, I'm really excited about this. And I think that you probably will have other businesses hot on your heels to try to do this, because it is a great idea. And there's a win-win for the property manager. How expensive is
Yeah,
it
for sure.
to do the ad part? Like if you want to boost them, like is a monthly cost?
Right now it's a monthly cost per listing. And
Okay.
right now it's really low because we just haven't had the traffic. Now that we start bumping out the traffic, as our traffic grows, I would expect the average price to bump a listing would be in the $50 a month range.
All right. So what I'm going to do, what I can do, this is what I do for everything. You may not know me that well, but I can tell you what I'll do is first thing after we finish this, I'm going to call. I'm going to say, hey, I want, and as long as there's an API to Streamline.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk to Streamline. We're one of their favorite.
So I'm going to call my sister and say, hey, I want you to do this. And I, as a homeowner, will pay to have my house bumped. Okay. And then I'm going to track ROI because I know how many I have. And I'm really happy with where I am. My sister's a phenomenal property manager. I want like 2 more. I only want 2 more. My husband said, we were looking at our numbers last night. He said, I want 2 more for this year. I said, okay, get 2 more. And because all the season is, it's booked.
Yes.
And he said to me last night, and my husband's, he's a ancient Hebrew scholar. He is not a property manager. And this is his first foray into property management, is the home that we bought. And he said, I thought September was in season. I said, no, babe. September at the beach is really not in season. He's like, but we cook. I said, yeah, we do, but that's
That'd be
not
a
in
shoulder
season.
season.
It's like, I have a week left. I'm like, oh yeah, well, okay.
We hear really, really, really good feedback from property managers that we're real people, that we listen, that we're trying to support them, that when they call, we actually answer the phone in Austin, Texas. And we, when a property manager wants to onboard, it's less than an hour, not less than a month with the big guys.
Onboarding is huge. It is. Onboarding is such a huge part for property managers. They honestly don't have the time to do all the different systems. So that's the reason I was asking if there was a 2-way API there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a set it up and forget it,
That's
process.
phenomenal. That is, because the rates automatically come over to you, which is, which is important. Okay. Well,
speaking of rates, Lynell, one of the things I would highlight with Savvy is as a traveler, if you come to our site and you find a property and you give us dates for over 2/3 of our properties, and we're continuing to work on that, we're going to show you the Savvy price for that property for those 5 nights. And then we show you the Airbnb price for that same and we show you the Verbo price for that same. So you see instantly that you're saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
Do you want me to cut that
So
out
yeah,
so that they don't, so that that doesn't go away? Do you want me to cut that part out?
I don't think it'll go away. They're going to see it, right? I mean,
Well, they can look it up anyway. And there are
yeah,
all kinds of ways to get that price. But yeah. Now, I don't usually I know I sound, guys, like an advertisement. That's not what this is. I promise it's not. I'm really excited about this process. Back before vacation rentals were a big thing in Expedia, when Vrbo had just happened, when Airbnb had just been sold, I met with a huge group around the table down in Austin to talk about doing this same exact thing for Verma, having Verma do it, because we felt like that would be a great way for Verma to make money, number one, and number two, for us to be able to cut out a lot of the OTA fees before the OTAs got big.
well, we're happy to do a white label for Verma.
Oh, that's sweet. I don't think they need it at this point. That would be,
Yeah, they probably don't, but I mean, not aware of them really providing a
They
marketing
don't.
service to
No,
their
the idea was voted
members.
against and went dead. Can I just say,
Probably
guys,
because if you look at the cost to build what we've built, I would have voted it down if I was a Verma
it was
person,
already
right?
built. It was in prototype
Really?
with APIs.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So it was already built, prototype.
Yeah. Why did it get voted down?
Through LSI. There was, and I have to say this very carefully because a lot of my
All it takes.
friends were there. It was voted down because they felt like rather than go with a tech company who had done it, which was Local Social, that was our company, they went with the big guys and decided to go through the OTAs. They thought that it would be a long-term better solution. And, there are a lot of people that talked better than I did 25 years ago. Let's just be real clear, I'm a young kid and we're young kids. We're starting this tech. We're like, this is a really great idea. And they weren't ready for it. So I'm going to be like Julia Roberts and say, big mistake, because this is a great business model. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. We're excited. We're real excited.
Tell me the best.
And now that we're finally able to go out and tell consumers about what we have, it's right now you have the shiny baby that you're proud of, but 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and people, hey, what are you doing? I tell you, yeah, but don't go look at it yet. Give us a little more time. But we're ready now.
Tell me the best advice you have for property managers, because not only have you managed a lot of properties yourself, you've been in vacation rentals a long time before you did this particular technology. What's the best advice you have for property managers to grow their company?
That's a great one. I'd say it's a sort of a two-part answer. Number one, it's do your job, right? Provide such an incredible hospitality that your repeat and word of mouth business drives your business. So do what a website can't do, right? I don't care how good Airbnb or Vrbo or Savvy is. They're websites, they're marketplaces. We can't provide the level of hospitality that a professional in the space can. Secondly, I would say really pay attention to your distribution and try to shift reservations from your higher cost distribution channels to your lower cost distribution channels, which means direct. But figure out how you can build your direct business without having to spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, because it's expensive. I mean, so you still want to be on the big OTAs to get out there and get new guests, but it's on you to turn those into repeat guests and word of mouth guests. And if you can get a reservation through a site like Savvy, that's a free channel, and communicate directly with that traveler before the reservation, not in app, but on a phone or on an email or via text, great. Then you can provide a higher level of hospitality. And, you may have a property that's coming on board in 2 months that's not live yet. And if you're talking to that person and you understand what they really need, you may tell them, hey, I've got the perfect property. It's not on the website yet, but it'll be live before you're coming. And I think this will be great for you. So just be good at hospitality.
Create the relationship between you and your guest. That's excellent.
That's what travel's about.
Is there anything else you want to tell property managers out there that are listening?
No, I would just say, hey, get on with us. We're trying to, create a movement and help give property managers and travelers a more efficient, higher level of hospitality way to book vacation rentals. And, the more vacation rentals that are on the platform, the more travelers come, and it's just a win-win for everybody. So if you've been sitting on the side while we were B&B Finder, not sure what was going to happen or what we were doing, we probably have a API now written for your PMS, and we're, become a savvy property manager is what I'd say.
I love that. I really appreciate you coming on. I do. I was just really excited to see what you were doing new. You guys are some of the smartest people in the business, and we out there, we look at you, everybody else in technology looks to see, what certain people are doing. And Eric, you're one of those people. So thank
Well, I
you
appreciate it.
well, you don't have to do this. You don't have to.
For sure, but it's fun.
These are people, when you look at people that have been as successful as you have, you could sit back in that pretty little snowy background that you have right there. And, you could ski all day and you could just play around, but instead you're doing things that actually help the industry. And I just want you to know that people look at that and they appreciate it. Yeah, it's
Yeah, thanks,
business,
Lynell.
but it's really doing something that is helpful for property managers.
I think that's the difference, is that it's too boring to retire and sit around.
It's true.
And when you find something that you're passionate about, if that's bringing people together to create memories and put smiles on their faces and save them money so they can do it more often and create more memories or create better memories, that's awesome. And that makes it that much more fun.
Yeah, you sound like my friend Moira Rockman, who also has such a deep, deep heart for people. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being with me.
Thanks for having me.
This episode of How We Grow is brought to you by Streamline. To find out more about how Streamline can help grow your vacation rental business, visit streamlinevrs.com. Make sure to search for How We Grow in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team here at Inhabit, thanks for listening.